The phone vibrated on the kitchen counter, its buzz slicing through the silence like a knife through flesh. I froze, spatula in hand, the sizzle of bacon fading into a distant hum. The screen glowed with a name, Elliot. My chest tightened, a fist clenching around my heart. Why was he texting her at 2 a.m.? Sarah's phone, left carelessly by the sink, pulsed with secrets I wasn't supposed to know. I stood there, the air thick with grease and betrayal, wondering if I should cross the line I'd sworn never to touch. Sarah had proposed it 6 months ago, her voice casual over dinner, as if suggesting a new Netflix series. An open marriage, she said, twirling her wine glass, her hazel eyes catching the candlelight. We're modern, Jake. It could spice things up. I laughed it off, thinking it was a test, a playful jab at our decade-long routine. But her gaze held steady, unyielding, and I felt the ground shift beneath me. She wanted freedom. She wanted more. I agreed, not because I wanted it, but because I loved her too much to say no. The rules were simple: honesty, discretion, no emotional attachments. I thought I could handle it. I thought I knew her. The first hint came weeks later, a faint whiff of unfamiliar cologne on her scarf. I dismissed it, chalking it up to a crowded subway or a hug from a coworker. But the signs piled up like unpaid bills. Late nights at work, her phone angled away from me, a new password I didn't know. Each one stung, but I swallowed the pain, telling myself I was being paranoid. She'd always come home, her smile bright, her touch warm. "You're my anchor," she'd whisper, and I'd believe her because I needed to, because love makes you blind, even when you're staring at the truth. Now, standing in our dimly lit kitchen, the bacon burning in the pan, I reached for her phone. My hands trembled, guilt warring with curiosity. Just a glance, I told myself, just to quiet the gnawing in my gut. The message from Elliot was brief. "Missed you tonight. Same time tomorrow?" My throat closed, the words searing into my brain. I scrolled up, each text a fresh wound. "You're incredible. Can't stop thinking about you. When can we steal another night?" This wasn't casual. This wasn't part of our deal. This was a violation, a theft of the trust I'd handed her so willingly. I set the phone down, my pulse hammering in my ears. The kitchen clock ticked, each second a mocking reminder of my naivety. I wanted to scream, to smash something, but instead, I turned off the stove and sat at the table, staring at the life we'd built. The framed photos on the wall. Our wedding, our trip to Paris, her laughing in my arms, felt like lies now, mocking me with their frozen happiness. How long had she been playing me? How many nights had I slept beside her, oblivious, while she carried him in her heart? When Sarah stumbled in at 3 a.m., her hair mussed, her lipstick smudged, I was still at the table, the phone beside me like a loaded gun. She froze, her eyes darting to it, then to me. "Jake, why are you up?" Her voice was too bright, a forced cheer that grated against my raw nerves. "Who's Elliot?" I asked, my tone flat, betraying none of the storm inside. Her face flickered, surprise, then fear, then a practiced calm. "Just a friend from work. You know that." She moved to the fridge, grabbing a water bottle, her movements too deliberate, like an actor hitting their mark. "A friend who texts you at 2 a.m.? I slid the phone toward her, the screen still glowing with his words. Her hand froze midair, the bottle trembling slightly. "You went through my phone?" Her voice sharpened, indignation masking guilt. "That's not part of our deal, Jake." "Our deal?" I stood, my chair scraping against the hardwood. "Our deal was honesty. No attachments. But you're not just screwing him, Sarah. You're falling for him." She flinched, her facade cracking. "You don't get to judge me. You agreed to this. You said you were fine." "I agreed because I thought it was what you needed." My voice broke, the hurt spilling out. "I thought we were still us. But you've been lying, hiding, breaking every rule we set." Her eyes filled with tears, but they weren't for me. They were for herself, for being caught. "I didn't mean for it to happen," she whispered. "It just did." I laughed, a bitter, hollow sound. "So that's it? You didn't mean to betray me? To throw away 10 years for some guy who sends you heart emojis?" She stepped closer, reaching for me, but I backed away, the space between us a chasm now. Jake, I love you. This doesn't change that. Love. The word tasted like ash. You don't love someone and lie to their face. You don't love someone and sneak around like a thief. The fight drained out of her, replaced by a quiet resignation. She sank into a chair, her hands covering her face. I thought I could have both, she said, voice muffled. You in something else, something that felt alive again. Her words cut deeper than any knife. I wasn't enough. Our life, our love, wasn't enough. I want to hate her, to walk away and never look back. But the truth was messy, eh? I still loved her, even now, even with her betrayal laid bare. And that made it worse. I grabbed my jacket and headed for the door, needing air, needing space. Jake, wait, she called, but I didn't turn back. The night was cold, the city lights blurring through the tears I refused to acknowledge. I walked, replaying every moment, every red flag I'd ignored. The cologne, the late nights, the locked phone, they weren't accidents. They were choices. Hours later, I found myself outside a bar, the neon sign flickering like my resolve. I played by her rules, kept my end of the bargain, never straying, never wanting to. But now I was done being the fool. I pulled out my phone, scrolling to a number I'd never called, a coworker who'd flirted with me months ago, her interest clear. I typed a message. Hey, you free tomorrow? My thumb hovered over send, my heart pounding with a mix of vengeance and guilt. Then Sarah's name flashed on the screen, a call I didn't answer. The voicemail came seconds later, her voice trembling. Jake, I'm sorry. I ended it with him. Please come home. I can't lose you. I stood there, the city humming around me, torn between rage and the love that refused to die. I could send a message, play her game, hurt her like she'd hurt me. Or I could go home, face the wreckage, try to rebuild something from the ashes. The choice was mine, but neither felt like winning. The phone trembled in my hand, the weight of her betrayal heavier than ever. And in that moment, I realized the real twist. The open marriage she'd wanted hadn't set us free. It had trapped us both.